All right, let's call May 13th, 2025, Park Commission meeting to order. Let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
What a page.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, now you can sit.
Again for walking in 80-degree heat.
Anybody have anything they'd like to add to this evening's agenda? I would like to add, if possible, I don't know if it would be in under your reports, more information on what happened with the TV in the gym.
Mm.
Yeah, I could just say that real quick. Boys were being boys.
Okay.
It was not malicious. It was not ill intent. It was just them goofing around, and a basketball got kicked into the TV. We know who, and we're working through that.
Okay. All right. Perfect. With that being said, I'll look for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries. All right. Last meeting's minutes. Anybody have any changes or additions to be made? If seeing none, I will look for a motion.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are good. All right. Let's see. The big show. We have Melissa Gomez here. You were on the park board for 6 years, 5-6 years, quite some time. Did a great job. Very helpful in a lot of the things you did. It's too bad you decided to move out of town. But we would like to honor you with this plaque. It states on here, in recognition of your dedicated service, individual contributions as a member of the Park and Rec Commission of the City of Mayer, your commitment, leadership, and passion have significantly enriched our community recreational spaces and activities over the years. We are deeply grateful for your efforts in enhancing the quality of life in the city through the development and improvement of our parks and recreational facilities and programs. Signed by the mayor, and you also get your name placard. Look at that. So, well, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate your time.
Yeah, I miss it, and I enjoy all my time on the board, and
You're probably watching every Tuesday. Bated
I
breath.
at least pull up the.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
Have a good night.
I'm safe.
Awesome.
Didn't miss it enough
We have
to come
somebody
pick
in
up
the
trash with
audience.
us,
Woo-hoo, this never happened. What are you requesting?
right? Public comments are over.
All right. Discussion on the golf course sponsorship.
We had been talking about doing disc golf sponsorships for the course. We had originally looked at having a 19-hole course. The working group went to an 18-hole course after some more discussions, and one's just going to be a practice putting hole. So that one won't get sponsored. So we're looking at 16.
Why not?
That's what they felt would be best for the design of the course.
Not to sponsor. I'm just saying, why not sponsor it?
I guess we could.
Yeah,
So
why
we wanted to
couldn't somebody-
sponsor the putting one.
Why not?
Yeah.
Sure.
R&P probably wants to.
Is it a cheaper sponsorship?
Probably.
They just
We'll take that one.
Everybody goes
They
to the
just
public.
recited. Come on.
Everybody goes to the
Give
public.
us some slack.
Which, by the way, looks very nice.
It does
Thank
look
you.
nice,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you.
Get up all that. So yeah, there'll be 18 plus the putting green. which is right up here, because this was originally number one, and then they redid it to have it down here to cross to two. I think
Yep.
go this way. So this was the original hole one, and they just moved it here and took it out instead of going here, then down this way. Hole 3 got moved a little bit. Originally, it was down in this area, but we had some concerns from the HOA that this might be going into lawn, so we shifted it down to the left here.
Okay.
Otherwise, the practice is right up there. With the sponsorships, we had talked about a couple different scenarios. I'd like to just get that nailed down, so when we go for sponsorships, we have a good plan. Talked about doing $1,000 one-time sponsorship or an ongoing $250 a year contribution. The idea being if you want to be one and done, to have it on there, great. Or if you'd like to continue to sponsor over the years to help fund the course and the maintenance and the operations of it into the future. You can do
Would
that as
that be
well.
like a 4-year commitment then?
I was gonna say, then are you gonna put their name by?
That's exactly what we want to nail down
Yeah.
tonight.
Okay.
That's just what had been talked previous, but that doesn't mean that's what necessarily what we need to do, or if maybe 1,000 isn't the correct number, it's something else or what have you. But that's what I'd like to get nailed down tonight with the group, that this is our sponsorship plan. This is what we're going to go out and solicit for. So with that, I will.
And it'll be the first 18 or 19, I guess,
Mhm.
that, okay, so that we don't get any double sponsorships on holes.
No, one thing I would like to recommend is, so we have 19. I would like to recommend we reserve 2 as gift sponsorships. And the 2 gift sponsorships I would like to do is 1 to Mayor Lutheran for their land use agreement and working with us to make this project a reality. And then 2, I would like to have a gift sponsorship to the disc golf course working group, Jason Clark, Andy Buke. They
Yep.
have put in a ton of work in designing the course and making this a reality. So to honor their volunteerism and helping make this a reality, I'd like to set 2 aside for those 2 and then sponsor out the remaining 17.
I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe the first and the last, 1 and 18.
Mayor Lutheran doesn't have a preference, and I haven't actually, maybe they'll see it tonight on the video, but I haven't actually told the working group that this was my
Right.
idea. So I'm springing.
No,
it
I
on
like
right
it.
now.
I think that's,
I
yeah,
think we
they,
talked
I
about it
agree.
before too, yeah.
yeah, they
I
put
like
a lot
that.
of work into it and a lot of time and effort and whatnot. Okay.
So with that,
Vince?
I just reacting to your question, if it was like a lock or or for your commitment or something like that. I kind of think we shouldn't, because then it's like you're saying it's either $1,000
Or
not,
$1,000.
right? So it's like I thought, like I like the idea of having a smaller amount, so you could, if the 1,000 seemed like a lot, you could sign up, and I think there's potential that it just continues. I don't know. It would really suck if we had to like print new signs every year too, though. So
But I understand what you're saying because you're still giving 1,000.
right. Well, That's
that
that's
was-
the thing
it's-
is you count for the first year if you want to do it. So whatever the sign is, say it's $75 to make. Yeah. That's then plus 250.
Oh, you just.
And then if you
Include
want
the
to stay
cost.
in, and then it's just 250
Run
thereon.
on.
And if you get a new one, you got to pay for the.
And then at the
It
maybe
helps
the
pay for the signs.
last year is just a deduction of that 75. Or whatever the sign is, right? If you're gonna commit to that 4-year, right?
Yep.
Then last year's 250 minus
The
75.
75 that you paid initially for the sign. Yeah,
I think you make it administratively easier and just the cost of sign is rolled into the
I
sponsorship
kind of
amount.
agree with that.
okay, yeah,
That way we're not having to play accountant on the front or back end. Just say
Yeah.
for 250 for a 4-year period, that gets you a sign
Yeah.
as part of the whole sponsorship. Because in our calculations for this, we have signage on here
right.
wrapped into the total cost already that we were figuring.
Why wouldn't anyone, if I'm business sponsoring this, I'd look at that and say, why would I ever do the 250 when I can pay it if it's $1,000 forever? or $1,000 for 4 years, why would I ever sign up for the 4 years? Except for the fact that I don't have to outlay $1,000 right
Right,
now.
and
But if
maybe
you're a
that's-
business, like that's not a very
I
big
agree.
outlay.
I
Well,
agree. I don't think it should be.
It
how-
depends
I was
on the
gonna- I was gonna
business.
say,
Because my name is up there.
because right now, yeah, I mean,
I may have drafted a list
and everybody's in different
of my victims.
scenarios, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
like you
supportive
say,
of having a lower amount. I just think that like
I just think that
yeah,
there's-
the lock is not.
I just
because-
think they all should total 1,000 in the end. If you're gonna sponsor a whole, 1,000 is what it should be.
So
if
how are you
that's what
gonna
we're
sell
looking
that?
for.
1,000 now or 1,000 later?
Well, 1,000 or 250 a year for 4 years.
but that's
So then
problem
you
with
only
that
get
is
your
then
sponsorship for 4 years if you're gonna pay $250 a year, or are you saying?
yes.
You're committed
yeah,
to 4
that's
years and then
exactly
you're
it.
locked in for, because you just paid the same amount as the
Correct.
person who paid
Then you should have a
$1,000 up front.
lifetime. Yep. Correct. And I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's where I
You're
was,
exactly right.
that's where I was thinking the original conversation, not to say that that's what we have to go with. You could pay 1,000 and that's it, and
Right.
get your lifetime. I would think of it if I had a business and I love the parks, I want to support the park system, I could sign up for $250 a year. And
And
I
that's
could,
just an ongoing.
that's just an ongoing commitment
Right.
that I'm making. Yeah, it's going to be over 1,000 in the end, but that's what I want to do to help
Agreed.
support this park system.
Yes.
I was thinking that just because it helps out the park system if gaining revenue, basically.
So over 10 years as a business, I would have paid 2,500 to have it on there, but that's what I wanted to do because I want that extra 1,500 to go towards maintenance operations, what have
And
you.
a lot of times 250 is the easier chunk to handle than 1,000.
Well, then it would also give a new business the opportunity to
Yeah.
come in
That's what I
and
was thinking too.
sponsor should, a business decide, okay, I've put in my 4 or 5 years and someone new wants to sponsor. So
I
if
think-
their budget's 1,000, but I have not read anymore.
No,
Thanks. What? Oh.
I think if you do the ongoing, we would draft an
I didn't look very good in the
agreement
bathroom,
Yeah,
apparently.
that you
It's an
are
inchworm.
Was it really?
agreeing
Yeah,
to pay
gross. I didn't
$250
know
a year
trees.
for a minimum of 4 years.
But then
You
do
would
you,
commit.
do you become a lifetime one then, like we were talking about? Because then you're paying $1,000. You're just paying it over.
The idea being is if you want to contribute more than 1,000 over time, you can do so. Or you can elect to do the 1,000 and be done.
Yeah.
The 250 for year ongoing is more that I want to go above and beyond.
My preference is that you offer the 250 as an ongoing option. There's no minimum time period. There's no maximum time period. Then if you want the one time, there's $1,000 opportunity, and it's there. It's always
Mhm.
there. That's my vote.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's like a ground floor opportunity
Yeah.
is what it is. Or maybe later on too, if somebody decides in 2 years, hey, I want to be just out here forever, they could put in 1,000 at that time or
Or would
What-
you say you've already put in 250?
yeah, I don't, that's.
You pay the 500
right.
then, and then you get it for a lifetime?
I think that's
No,
where
I
it gets
think-
muddy
I
because.
think it's like if you want to be on the payment plan or you want to keep going, like that's what it is.
Yeah, I think,
And if you want to lock it in, there's then your next year renewal. It's like
Agreed.
buying a fishing license or something like that.
Agreed.
Like,
or like renting a part of a dock, you
Sure.
can either it's this much for this time or this much for this time and you're weighing your options. It's a lot for. a lot
Yeah, it
of
doesn't
people.
necessarily mean it balances out in the end.
No.
It just is what it is. It's just the option that fits you best at that particular time, or
Mhm.
whatever, right?
Mhm. And I think if you lock somebody in for 4 years, you're essentially saying you're paying 1,000 is my brain, but
But some people don't want to be locked in either though.
right.
right.
Because
That's why I
they want to
think-
do it for a year, see if that happens and if,
Yeah, if it does, if it, they don't
what
see
if
the
their
benefit,
business
they're
goes
not
under
seeing
and-
it. Right,
per
right.
se. I
Or
mean,
it
which
might
most
just
of the
be-
businesses
Or
won't.
or they don't see any benefit. to
Yeah.
it. It's like why
Or
am
it's
I?
what they can afford at the time.
Yep.
People
Right.
stop throwing frisbees. Yeah, I agree.
So,
So are we thinking we would like to go with the 1,000 one time or the 250 ongoing?
Both.
Well,
well,
both.
But I
You
mean,
can pick,
that's what I meant.
Are you
Yeah.
locking me
Yes.
in one?
but no lock-in, no.
No
Right.
cap on,
Right.
How many years do you have to commit to?
Now, if you take the 250 option and you don't pay a year, it's open for somebody else to come in.
Yes.
So then we have to have a deadline of when they need to have their donation in by.
First of the year,
Mhm.
just keep it simple. First of the year, the city sends something December 1st out. Here's your renewal ship for the plaque. If they don't get anything back by January 1st, it's
You
Or
can,
when
you
does-
can get them 2 months maybe.
When does the course open? What's the planned opening date?
They're working on it right now.
It's not bad, so-
Baskets are still like 2-3 weeks out, but we have the sleeves. Actually, sleeves will be here Thursday. But he's doing preparations right now to pour concrete for the pads and the baskets. So when the sleeves arrives on Thursday, they can cement them in, and
Sweet.
then once the baskets arrive
just pop them in.
into the locking mechanism, throw the lock on them, and they're in.
Because then it might not be the first of the year if they're paying now. If you're getting sponsorships now, it might be.
Well, then
when it
July
just
then.
Comes up, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't really
Go to
matter.
July to
Doesn't
July.
matter, yeah.
The-
And they
the-
can, Nick and finance, Ashley and whatever can figure that out, Alicia.
Yeah, and for most of these sponsors, if they're local, I'm gonna have contact
Yeah,
information.
absolutely. I mean, they're not coming, this isn't the only thing you're contacting them about. I mean, there's enough other stuff. So.
I got most of the businesses' contact, phone numbers, and emails anyway.
Okay. So with that, do we have to, I'll be looking for a motion then to move on that.
Do we just establish that, or does the council have to weigh in, or?
I think we can establish that.
Yeah, I don't.
That'll be just fine.
Okay, I was wondering, I didn't think that would have to be a council thing because that's kind of a,
Falls under the park and rec.
yeah, it's
Nah,
payback to the
I
park.
just never understand where the lines are.
Right,
yeah.
When we spend money, when we don't.
Yeah, it can be muddy, I think.
When we're trying to generate, then it's,
Yeah, we bring money in.
That's okay.
it's okay.
Well, I motion for the 1,000 one time, and you're asking for a motion on that?
Yep.
And 250, so I'll motion it.
Second.
Any other discussion? No? With that, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Splash pad, grand opening. Yay!
Huzzah!
Did you say it's moved now, or is it still June 7th?
Still aiming for June 7th. Department of Health inspection is the 27th of May. So that'll give us about a week and a half, a little over a week and a half.
Yeah, get in there right after their inspection, because
Should go fine. Vortex builds plenty of these around the state, so it shouldn't be a
Right.
big deal at all. The plans have been all approved. This is just their inspection to say, yep, you built it how
Your,
you.
your equipment's in where you said it was gonna be.
Yep, everything's where it should be. So this should go swimmingly. Our guys are CPO certified to operate it. We're getting chemicals and media filter in, so things are lining up pretty well. The old schoolhouse trail that's being worked on this week. If we don't get too much rain, they're planning to pave on Friday.
nice.
And then Public Works next week after, we'll get in there, start doing backfilling around the areas, get it graded for final. Trees will probably come in a little later, once we get everything
Mhm.
hydro seeded after that. Tent fence around it to keep the kids from tracking mud in. And then we'll let
That'll look
grass
really
grow.
nice. It'll look really nice when it gets vegetated. I mean, right now it looks good, but
Mhm.
Yeah,
really
it'll
nice.
look real good when she's done. But yeah, it's still lining up for the June 7th grand opening. So for that, we were thinking about having vendors come in for food vendors come in for that. Sweet Wings had an opening that came up, so Matt
Nice.
contacted me. So we're going to take advantage of them and have Sweet Wings there. And I'm waiting to hear back from Adventure Bowls.
Okay.
To pair with them. If Adventure Bowls is unable, we're looking at having Tanya with her
Want to
shaver.
have a shave ice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having her pair up with Sweet Wings, having those two there.
Okay,
for the grand opening.
what time are we thinking?
11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay.
I have it all written somewhere.
So once I get the vendors nailed down, then we'll start getting the word out.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds easy peasy.
We said the 6th, right?
7th.
Seventh.
Sorry.
That's Saturday.
I was gonna say, I gotta.
I already had it on here.
I gotta leave by 2, but that's perfect. Hey, me too.
And for the play features, we have 2 water cannons out there. I thought they were going to be locked angles, but they're not. So parents are now in danger. Well, if you need to cool off,
We'll find Nick out there in the middle of the day trying to.
I'll know I'll know the exact range on that thing. It'll just be.
Hey, Nick, we need help out at the station. Goodness. All right. With that, let's move on to number 8. Park review park plan capital improvement.
Homework you guys were given.
Melissa, do you remember when we did the map?
That was right before
It was right before. Okay.
Oh, that was
I knew
like
it was
6
a
years
while ago.
then.
I like I
Yeah.
said, I thought it was like 8 years ago or
Because
so.
it came
that
up
we
at
had
city
done that.
council and I was like, is that like in a box somewhere or?
We haven't found it.
No,
It could still be buried somewhere, I guess, as we keep going through files. But so we've got our range of projects that we would like to do over time here. The idea being is we rank order those to give us an idea of the priority of how these should be handled as funding comes available. Similar to the visuals stuff we had, but this is just in a spreadsheet form. So with that, I'll turn it over to our good chairperson. We'll just go down and everybody let us know what your rankings are.
Oh, sure, ranking. Right out loud.
yeah, we don't hand this in and you don't put it together in a new
I think
spreadsheet.
he's doing it right now.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
Right? I gave it 3.
This will be for the bike
Bike
rack
rack.
at Blue Jay Park.
Stifter.
Oh, I also gave it a 3.
I said 3.
Same.
3.
Whoa. We're such a unified
Mm.
group.
Look at us.
Benches, I gave a 5.
At Blue Jay Park.
Mhm.
4.
4.
4.
3.
It's looking like a solid 4 on the rankings.
Mm.
Sidewalks, I gave a 4.
I also gave a 4.
5.
4.
4.
I gave a 3 on the modified pickleball court.
We don't have to worry about this one too much because we're.
I thought we were trying this, so that's what I was
I
kind
was
of.
like,
Yeah, we could
I
skip
was
this.
like,
We could-
well,
well, that's
I'm
what
gonna give it a 3 because I think we're already doing it.
I put it 2 because I was like, how much more modifications
That's why I gave it a
do we
5
need?
because
That's
it's like,
on the
wow.
basketball pat? Is that what? That
Yeah.
one? Okay.
yeah, we're actually doing this one this year. I'm waiting for quotes to come
So you
back.
tricked us.
I know. I was like, that's
That
good
was a
too.
setup.
We've done enough with the pickleball.
We could skip that one.
Okay. I gave a 3 on trail reconstruction at West.
3.
4.
4.
3.
3.5-ish.
I gave it 2.
1.
1.
1.
3.
34, 43. Wow.
Really bumped up the average.
Woo!
Dog haters.
Hey, I have 3 dogs. I'm contributing. They don't need a park.
Trail lighting, I went with a 4.
3.
4.
5.
4.
Is that highlighting because we're doing that?
Yeah, what was the highlighted? Because that is in the plan or not in the plan?
I thought it
'Cause-
was.
What do I
yeah.
have
The
for it?
highlighted was the like.
Oh,
No.
I see.
I have notes that
It's
tell
like
me.
tied to something.
Tie into
else.
trail
Tie
lighting
into
if no
trail-
electric
yep.
is currently
Okay.
available.
Yeah, I was
'Cause-
trying to.
Okay, because gazebo, I put a 5.
I put 5 too on the gazebo.
Same.
Same.
I put a 4.
Sorry, jumped the gun there.
Now this one, I guess I wanted to go down and look.
There's
but I
already one on
didn't.
on the east side.
Okay, and that was my question. Is there one there or not?
It's by
There
the,
is one.
yeah, it's
Okay.
by the, like, the handicap.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
Like the
changes
back
my
and
vote
forth thing.
Okay. I gave it a 1. In thoughts that there was one
Yeah.
I
there.
think there should be one, or maybe we should just move it to the other, over by the gazebo.
Yeah, because it doesn't get utilized.
Right.
Kids dump their bikes in the grass.
I think we
Yeah.
should just move it over by the gazebo.
Kids just dump it in the back. They don't care.
That's easy. It doesn't cost anything.
Unless they had to pay for it, it'd be
Woohoo.
different.
Right.
Sweat and tears.
It's just a better location. It's just, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
move it,
Yeah.
move it and skip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The benches, I gave a 2.
3.
Are
I-
there any there?
I said 2
There's-
because I think there's enough.
There's
There's 3.
there's 3.
Is there 3?
Oh, okay.
There's,
so-
there's the new fancy one that was donated,
Oh, West.
and then
Yeah.
there's 2 like as part of the playground equipment.
Okay.
And the only reason I would have a different vote would be to put something over by the volleyball court, but I don't think that that's necessarily needed either
I don't.
at this time,
Right.
right?
Priority wise.
Right.
Gave it a 1. Done.
2.
Oh, what are we on?
We're still on the park bench for Westridge.
Just finish that one up. Last one for Westridge.
The playground equipment, I'm not sure what cycle that's on.
I don't think we have to
2034.
really prioritize.
I was
it,
just
'cause
gonna say. I mean, I
just-
think it's just what we do.
2034 it's there.
Right, and I know, a bunch of that ADA compliance stuff we added. Well, gosh, that was before you too. That Liz was still here. Okay,
We can skip that one. yeah.
okay.
That, we can skip 19 as
I was
well.
gonna say, do we skip
We're
disc
doing
golf
that.
course?
Can I kind of
Really
a
need to
1 for the
clean up
golf course?
CIP. We could skip it. Hold on, I gotta.
I put a
We can
5.
hide it.
You could just give it 5 all the way across.
I did give it a 5.
Oh, where is it?
I hate you're overcomplicating it. Just-
Wow, hate's a strong word.
I said you're overcomplicating. I didn't say hate.
Oh,
Golly.
no, of course.
You click through. I always do that.
Makes sense.
No, it
No,
doesn't. It makes
You gotta go
me
the
so
one
mad.
below
One
it
below.
to freeze the ones
Mhm.
above
Freeze
it.
there.
Yeah.
No, it's Microsoft products.
Mhm.
All right, to Discovery Park.
The gazebo, I give a 5.
I also gave it 5.
4.
2.
4.
She just hates shade.
I am gonna be the rock in your shoe with that one.
Trail reconstruction here again. I don't know what shape the trails are in, but I give it a 3.
Discovery is not in good shape.
Oh, it is.
No.
It is not.
It's not.
Okay.
It's in bad shape.
I think Westridge might be slightly. Well, it depends on the part, but they're both pretty bad. But
Yeah, some of this I think we'll probably do patchwork in the interim to fix the worst of the worst offenders. But yeah, Discovery's not that great.
Yeah, that's why I put a 4 on that one over the gazebo just because
I had a 3.
higher priority.
4.
4.
4.
There again, bike rack. I know there used to be a bike rack up there. I don't know if it's still there or not.
I feel like there's one, maybe.
I don't know. There used to
I
be
don't
one
know
up
if
on the
there is
far
or
side
not.
of the playground.
I thought there was one by the porta potty.
Well, maybe that's where it was.
There
I
might
didn't-
be, but-
Maybe
Yeah.
not though.
Maybe not. I give it a 3 either way.
I gave it a 2.
3.
Kids don't use them.
3.
2.
That one I can't remember if there's.
It'd be sitting right
Park
next to me in
benches,
the
here
grass.
again, I don't know exactly what's
exactly.
up there, but if there's a need or a use for them on the basketball court there, I gave it a 4.
By the basketball court would be good. I think there's 2 in the playground area.
Yes.
But yeah, something or picnic benches. But if we're gonna put a gazebo, then there
Gazebo,
will be picnic
right.
benches, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So then I would say you don't need benches if you're gonna put a gazebo with picnic benches. Sorry, that's not my ranking.
That's okay. That's why I was trying to explain why I only gave a 2 on the gazebo.
3.
We're gonna be here till 10 o'clock.
3.
4.
2.
3 as an average.
We could skip the next one again.
Yeah, we can skip that one, skip that one.
Yeah.
So we're done with Discovery then.
Now we're down to Meadow.
Soccer fields. That came out weird.
By that, are we talking, it's not the park, that's not the parking. Is it?
No,
we're
that-
talking
No, that's just
seating
improving
Next one's
and stuff,
parking lot.
or like
Are we,
what's-
we're, I think, is that leveling?
Leveling,
and-
top dressing,
Okay.
better nets,
Okay.
striping it potentially.
I don't even, do kids play over there?
I gave it, I know I've seen kids up there, not a lot.
But not like professionally,
Right.
right? They're just kicking a ball. around.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel I gave it a 3. And explanation is until we have the need or the
Well, until we get the
request
parking
for
lot
it.
done or whatever.
Yeah,
we
nobody
do
can
there,
be,
it
it's
doesn't-
hard to get access
Yeah,
it
it's all
anyway.
low
It's tied
ranking
with that.
until,
Yeah.
yeah, agreed.
2.
2.
I gave it a 3 as well, but
3,
again, I would agree.
3.
They're all tied in.
Whatever notes here. Oh. Yeah, I have notes here, tie into 2030 street project, tie into parking lot, and soccer field improvements, the gazebo and parking lot.
Okay.
That'll be here before you know it.
Right. 5.
For parking lot?
Yep.
3.
I had, I can't remember what I put for that one. I think I had a 3.
3.
4.
Now, this could be affected if, because planning commission is doing the zoning code. Hint, hint, Ryan. If we allow it in code for the city park system to be able to use gravel for parking lots,
Yep.
that would drastically reduce the price of
Yep.
getting some of this done. Obviously, we want paved where it makes sense. I think this is probably one of those parks where gravel would do the trick.
I mean, we
Oh,
do
it'd be-
curb and
yeah.
gutter and just gravel it for now, or just gravel it and that's it for now, and then do curb and gutter down the road.
I
With
think
soft
you,
sides.
I think you would gravel it. You would do the subgrade to where that if you wanted to down the road, you could just slap asphalt over the top. You don't want to just like do 3 inches of it because then
Yeah.
you're gonna have to tear it all up and redo it
And then,
anyway.
like I say, just with soft sides, no
Yeah.
curb and gutter or anything.
Oh,
So I'd say for parking lots, you'd probably do 12 inches of class 5 as a good base. And then down the road, if you ever wanted to pave it, well, the base is there. All you have to do is go over the top.
Yep. Okay.
So we're not making more work for ourselves down the line.
Gazebo, I give it a 4.
3.
4.
3.
4.
Up, down, up, down. I know there used to be a bike rack there because I always had to move it with the mower. So I gave it a 3 in the thoughts that it's still there. It is still there?
Last time I was there.
Okay, yeah.
3.
In light of that, I'm changing mine to a 2. We've got one.
3.
It's like, that's kind of like the, do we vote? I mean, do we even rank those?
Right.
If it exists?
If it exists, it's almost a 1 or nothing. Unless another one is needed, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Like, are we prioritizing another one or a new one or a replacement?
Do kids use their bikes on the skateboard park?
Right,
Because
don't they
then
just
I would
drop 'em?
think that maybe a second one, but I don't ever go to
I
that
don't
park.
think so. Because
I
like,
feel like
either
kids
they're,
just
either
drop
they're on it with their bike that they rode there or
Then
they
they're
rode
gonna
their
chuck it in the
skateboard there.
grass.
I was gonna say, yeah, as I remember being a kid, what's a bike rack?
Right?
What's this
You
thing?
That's
just
where
pick
the-
your bike up in your
That's
handlebar
where
and
the
have
nerds-
grass and dirt sticking out of
That's where
it.
the
Yeah.
nerds put their bikes.
Or if your mom told
It
you
was
to.
not cool.
Right, yeah. Yeah, what-
I guess a 3. I mean, I like bike racks. I just don't.
If we're on the skate park, I put 2.
Skate park?
I put a 3.
Oh, did I jump ahead?
Yeah, you did.
Sorry.
Okay.
I put it 2.
2.
3.
Now I'm at a 2.
Then I'm not sure what's there for benches, so I give it a 3.
3.
3.
If there isn't any, I'd say 4.
There's a couple.
Then I'm back to a 3.
There's one on the east side and one on the south.
I know there's one
side.
at the playground, but I'm not sure what else is there.
I think I could use another one, but I put a 3.
Let's skip the
What's
next
the
one.
note?
Probably tie into,
2030.
30.
2030, okay.
I had it here in
Oh, a bridge over that little,
low area.
Yeah.
You need to add something or fill. 'cause
Yeah.
it just you're just gonna keep having
Yeah,
problems
it's awful.
with the
It is.
yeah, it's been an issue, I know, since the park was first built.
It's just simple something or other, but I don't know. I don't
could
know
look
what
cool.
architectural
Cute
design
little bridge.
standards you have to do that stuff
Could
too.
look cool, you know, just something, okay. I put a 4.
3.
4.
4.
4.
Do you want me to change my answer?
No, you
Four?
don't change your answer.
I need to go to that park apparently. I
I'd
never
rather
walk
see you in the
over
gazebo,
there.
are you kidding?
You have to be honest.
Playground equipment replacement, we can skip.
Yep.
That's scheduled. Old schoolhouse park. So additional parking, this would be immediately in front between
Yep.
what we have and the splash pad and the pavilion.
I give that a 5.
Well, it's already happening, right?
No,
No.
it's gravel right now.
Yeah.
I'd
And
say
it will
5.
remain gravel until it's,
Is there a resurfacing project for the parking lot, the existing parking lot anytime?
Not anytime soon. For the existing parking lot, what I would do is crack fill and blackjack.
Right.
And then
Doesn't need a
repaint the
mill and
stripes.
overlay at any point.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say 5 then.
Yeah, I'll go 5.
5.
That's good because I have ideas for that.
Is that our only universal 5?
No, we did it on the,
Well, the disc golf course.
Yeah, it was
He didn't
unspoken.
count that.
Lighting in the
one.
Lighting in the
gazebo.
gazebo. That's the other one. That one didn't even get all 5s.
No, that one, we had a 4 in there.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay.
park bench.
Park benches, I gave it 2 because I feel like we have quite a few benches there.
1, because we have benches and picnic tables.
And a pavilion.
1.
1.
1.
Here again, I don't know what we have for bike rack.
This we should have.
There
probably
is
should,
not a bike
because-
rack.
There
And we-
is not a bike
And we're gonna
rack.
have people
No.
riding bike to the
Splash pad.
Yeah,
So I did give it a 4.
yeah, 4.
5.
5.
4.
I'll get those ordered.
Trail lighting, I gave it 3.
We're just mid-project with it, so I'll
Right.
grab it. Sorry, trail lighting,
3.
4.
5.
5.
4.
Especially there.
Rink boards, I give a 4.
3.
4.
2.
4.
Cementing the rink, I gave a 2.
Yeah, 2.
2.
2.
3.
Although if we cement the rink, then can we do what Watertown does and multi-use it
Yep.
during the summer?
For pickleball.
It's just the cost,
That's
obviously,
the
is
one
a
that-
lot.
That's what's detrimental.
But that would definitely
Right.
be nice to
Just
have.
could do pickleball and basketball.
But why can't
Yeah.
that be used as a dog running area in the summer?
so
It's full of poop.
People won't pick up their own poop.
Yeah.
I still think we should use the swamp for this dog.
So my thoughts on cement rink, we had this up until recently.
Recently.
But my idea was if we were going to go for this, combine some of these together, at least these two combined together, and go for another DNR grant. That would pay for half of it.
Okay.
That was my whole thought process with the ball field improvements, and then wrap that in, because then you could call this, if you cement the ice rink, you could call it ice rink in the winter and parking in the summer. Well, you would multi-use it, is essentially what would happen. Baseball games, you could open up for parking. When it's not a baseball game, you could have it for pickleball. In the winter, it's ice skating,
Yep.
etc.
How are people going to drive down there?
That was my question.
Around the
You would have
splash pad?
No, you would, you go to the right side of the splash pad down where they were always driving before to get down there.
But how many parking spots is that actually going to give us versus like doing something like Watertown with pickleball courts?
So this was, at this stage, it was no more than just an idea.
And how do you change
There-
it up?
There was no layout, there was no drawings, there
Right,
was
there's
nothing.
nothing.
I would say people are probably going to.
Yeah, but there's property where the ice rink would be to the north. You could put gravel there
Good,
and then that's parking there.
yeah.
There'd be plenty of parking. You could fit probably 30, 40 cars down there.
I just think it's low ranking for me for right now. I don't think it's.
Yeah, there's, yeah, like you say, to the north
there's
there,
actually a lot of.
you could, I mean, that is a lot of dead area. Go to the north, Nick.
Oh, yeah.
That's all
This is,
ours.
I mean, that could be parking so simply,
Well, then would
and it'd be
Well,
less mowing.
then would you make that parking and leave?
Either push the rink down
court
or you got the
alone?
warming house down in the corner though.
on the west end, yes, this gets awfully wet during the year.
Right,
Because this is the swale that goes down to here and channels
Exactly.
into here.
Well, you're gonna need a pond for the stormwater anyway. You'll have over an acre of impervious
Right.
added.
Don't tell WMO we're fine.
and in all essence, that
Recording.
could just stay grass, and, I mean, you can always park cars on grass if it's dry.
Yeah, when you start that, they're gonna be parking everywhere.
Right there, yeah. People
But I mean,
park
if-
there even if it's not dry.
I mean, I think it's a cool idea, but I think it's low priority for right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's right. This was like with that.
Right. But now that we don't have a ball team,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Thanks a lot.
there's a lot of
Ball
the
club.
kid
it's
clubs.
not the ball club.
There's a lot of kids down here using that ball field all the time.
The parking lot's always.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
So, and they're concerned about the dugouts and
Dugouts, yeah.
stuff like that. So we
And
need
I
to
would
address
like
to do
to-
something like that.
I
and
would
do
like
it.
to see the field and stuff get redone. Maybe not as fast of a timely fashion as like we had thought it would be, but I mean, if we can plan some of this out, do the mound one year and do the infield another year and get the sprinklers back up and running and water that area again and then, build the dugouts.
I think
And
if you do scale, because we were talking grandstand dugouts, I think that was the bulk of that cost.
That was, yes,
So I think if you scale back, take out the existing dugouts, do something more simple.
right.
Yeah, if we just do a pole shed type of thing, because that way we can build it so we could put a deck on it down the road, but at
Right.
least it's framed
you
up
don't-
for it and
It's
it's,
like you don't even need a shed. You could just do well, I guess you want some to lean your stuff up against and all that. I was just thinking as long as you provide like shade,
Yeah, but
But-
that gets wonky too because we had that. I know in Tonka Bay, that's what we had we had the fences and then they put the
Right.
shades over the top.
right?
Well, we found that kids be climbing on it.
Sure.
They'd be cutting the ropes for the shades. They'd be, and we went to cable and then the cable cut through the shades. It was just a solid structure
Sure.
where they have
And a pole shed's not expensive. I was just like,
no,
a little bit more aggression,
do we have? Is there
Place to put
safety
bats and
concerns
mats.
with the current dugouts?
They're falling apart.
Like, I mean, that's to your point. Like, if there's kids using them all the time, do we have
Yeah,
active
they're-
safety concerns with that with
They are, I mean,
There's
the foundations on them are crumbling.
Yep.
They're splitting. The blocks there's some gaps in the blocks that are like 3 inches.
Well,
There's
then that kind of changes things too. if it's-
right.
like, do we just have to tear them down because it's like a liability? Like,
I don't know.
That's my question.
I mean, are we at that point, Nick? Do you think? Do you need to get somebody to look at them,
I would have to get somebody in there to look at
to
them.
structurally look at them and see?
So
I mean, maybe that's not a bad idea.
That's a good.
Maybe
starting
have our
point.
engineer or somebody look at them to see structurally are they a hazard? 'Cause
I'd
if
have
they
the building
are-
inspector go down there and take a,
Yeah, because if they are, I mean, then that's another thing that we
Well,
have
then
to
it can-
consider because
it
it's a
can push-
liability.
yeah, because then push the needle and let's get them
Right.
set up at least for next year and we'll build new
Right.
surrounds. It'll last this year, but spring right away, let's build new stuff and
Mhm.
Yeah, like I
maybe
said, I
get the
mean,
mounds done too right away.
I would like to see the ball field still progress.
Yeah.
Because Mayor Lutheran uses it for their JV games, and it's not to say that we won't have another. If somebody starts another town team, somebody else, but as far as the group right now, they're done. So, it's possible.
Yep. But let's
So-
be ready for it, so. when we
Right,
do,
let's not just let it go to waste,
Yeah.
is my thing, right? Because if we
It's
don't
gonna
keep up
cost more to
on it.
fix it down the road than if we just kind of keep up with it.
Right.
So we start with getting it inspected. Yeah. And go from
I'll
there.
handle all that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Because they can make the dugouts the town colors, you know.
Red
that
and
type of
black,
thing. Yeah, you know, whether or
same as
not,
my Lutheran.
well, then whether or not we sponsorship for the baseball club and then the
Right.
Lions, and we put their signs on each one of them or
Yep.
something like that, and just sort of.
Yeah.
Keep on moving.
So,
And then I got a question from some people that use the baseball, must be JV, that if they could use the shed out there, the pavilion, to put stuff in.
Concession shop?
Yeah, the concession shack.
What do they want to put in there?
Bats and
they
bags.
They
want
wanna
to keep their
store stuff?
equipment in there.
Yeah, maybe put equipment in there. I don't know if, yes, no, maybe.
What kind of room is in there? And then do you let other people then too?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Right,
thinking. If
yeah.
you let
Well,
other
and
people in
that's
there
my
and
question is, and then what if we do have,
Somebody wants to run concessions or something.
right,
Or if something happens to that equipment, are we responsible for it now? It's stored in our,
right.
And they'd sign a waiver, I'm sure, if we're gonna let them do it.
I'd prefer not.
I think most
Yeah.
cities probably don't.
I'd prefer not at this time.
Okay. And that's something maybe down the road and then with the dugouts, then we put something on there as a storage.
Right. There is
shelter.
a storage on the one, but I don't think it works anymore.
Okay.
I think the door is gone. I think,
That's like a really nice ball field.
It's probably not this season, maybe solve it for next season type of thing.
Yep.
mhm.
But I told them I'd talk to the commission and see where we're at with it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Archery range. I gave it a 4.
4.
2.
1.
2.
We're going to equipment replacement.
And
Skip
skip
that. They were pretty well done there.
park.
Right.
Skip that too.
Very good. This
Parking
one,
is a big concern.
I'd already been thinking about this one here.
Especially when the splash pad opens.
Right. And that's, because right now it's just going to be gravel and whatever to cross over to get.
People will be
them.
parking all the way down the road.
So you need like
But is
12,
it even doable this year? Is it there
Be
even
about
budget
44
for it?
feet.
12 feet plus a stall or
44.
Where would that go?
Yeah.
So would that run all the way to the trail?
So you'd
Give me a
extend
rough-
off of right about here, go down 44 feet there, come across here.
That's why I was asking, would it go to the trail or would we cut back in and leave that grass? Okay.
Something like that.
Would that be curb and guttered?
No, rural section. There's no curb and gutter now. And there's no curb and gutter around the existing rest of it, so there would be no point to curb and guttering
Okay.
it. What was I gonna look up? Back. Project. Splash pad. This is all different. This one. There we go. That's what I want. Pavilion is right there.
Yep.
Splash pad will bulb out.
No.
Parking lot line is about asphalt line.
Existing parking lot.
Existing line is there. So we could have it come out and marry into.
So on the very south corner, then the trail would start from there, that corner,
Yeah.
right there, where you're, right
Have it
there.
marry in.
Yeah, Marion, right there.
This would come out into here.
Right.
And you put sidewalk along
front of it.
the west side.
Nope, we would just lead right into the pavilion and
Into
then
the
you go to the
grass.
splash. Go to the splash pad here.
Because the red is a sidewalk, isn't it?
Uh,
In front of the
All
pavilion.
of this is asphalt trail.
So,
All
so
of
you
the
just
colors.
have the pavement end, and then you've got 20 feet of grass in between.
We're at,
It,
Where the dotted line
Parking
is,
lot to the
right?
trail.
yeah,
you're saying
so
you're saying the existing dotted line right there by your mouth. Oh, thank you.
From one to,
So your existing parking lot is here, right?
yep,
And so then 40 feet over takes you to like here.
Roughly that other dotted line. Let's just say the dotted line.
That's what I'm saying. Like, have
Yep.
you
roughly
got,
there.
have you got? There's this grass in between here.
Yes.
So then they just walk across the grass into the.
And I think that would be fine. A buffer zone for the kids to wipe their feet.
And then take
Track
the
grass.
dirt right
Right.
back into the splash
Right.
pad.
No, into the car.
No,
No,
no.
there's,
I think you
there
could-
will
I
be,
think you could draw
there will be
something.
grass and dirt in the
Eliminate
splash
What if it's
pad.
a-
what if we put
Until the
And now
fence
I'm
is
more for it
installed.
because I don't
You could-
even have
I feel
little
like maybe
kids.
you-
I'm like,
maybe you
no.
push
I
put
didn't
a
even think of that.
sidewalk and then parking, and then you leave a grass strip in between the existing parking and the.
What if you put artificial grass?
You could do that too.
Let's
Yeah.
focus on parking lot
we
right
can
now.
get somebody to draw a site plan later.
Like, this is the plan and this is
Yeah.
what is going
Well,
in.
and my,
Yeah.
I'm thinking that way we can put some handicap spots in there also
Well, that's what I was thinking.
for the
Like, how
pavilion
you,
and the splash pad.
you could put those at the corner.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, but then at least we're offering them and we're providing them
We do have those up here. At least
by
for
the
City Hall,
building,
but
but
then we
that's
could
not
put
close
those
to that
closer
area.
to this over
Are
here.
there
I
Right.
think you're required to provide.
specifications or rules?
Yeah, you have to
on-
have, that would all be taken care of. We don't have to worry about that.
Right.
Hmm.
But being that we are making trails and everything ADA compliant.
Yeah, whatever we design would be ADA
I'm
compliant.
sure you need
Whatever that rules may be.
stalls for the.
So yeah, the idea is you would have another 20 foot here and then you'd have 2 lane.
Yep.
So you imagine if it's coming out to here, because that won't, you'll have another parking stall.
Yep.
There.
20 feet there, and then you have another 22 feet.
Yep.
Or I'm sorry, 24 feet, because a drive lane is 12 feet.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's where you get your 44.
Yeah.
Are you talking about adding that?
Oh,
now?
okay. I was picturing.
So there'd be another stall.
I
on
was
the
picturing a
backside,
whole
and then
nother
there'd
row
be-
of stalls in my head.
There'd be another row of
I
stalls.
thought you were heading facing
rows,
facing
yeah.
west.
Yeah, so we've got the
One
You're,
stalls.
you're just talking one row of stalls.
Yeah, we've got the stalls here, so you'd have another stall on the opposite side to make a grid of them like this.
Right.
And then
just
you would,
then
your
just
drive path,
lane.
No,
because you have to
there'd be another-
access.
There's
No,
not
we
enough.
had drive past.
He's saying with 44 feet, you don't have room for that. Because you got
Yeah, you're
You
right.
got
You would,
20,
because
40
12,
Drive
12,
behind it.
24.
you need 60.
Yeah, you need 60 feet. Yeah,
and then
you're
you'd-
right.
You'd be
Okay.
on the splash pad at that point.
Okay, that's less important than to put to have
So the kids,
the sidewalk.
parents can
then
drop
I
their
think.
kids and leave.
Right.
there.
You have the drive path here and then the stalls here. So
Yeah.
you
I
drive in
mean-
here around, then you come in and park, back out.
Right.
So you
You're
can maybe
adding
save a little space by making it one way. You know, in here one way, park an angle,
So it's like 10
come out,
stalls.
but that
You lose-
involves
you lose,
people
like, 3
obeying it.
stalls, too.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
just another confusing thing that everybody goes, "Ooh, ooh, ooh."
Yeah.
Is it worth it for 10 more stalls?
You wouldn't be gaining stalls, you'd be reducing costs because you wouldn't have
Extra
bilateral traffic lanes, you'd just be down one lane of traffic, so you'd be saving 12 feet of asphalt in cost, which I don't know if that's actually worth it for the extra confusion.
I'd like to see the gravel gone. Personally, I mean, I should make all that grass, but that just seems like a lot of wasted parking space to me, because
I think people are still gonna park in the gravel.
Yeah.
I agree, but I don't like the gravel.
Oh yeah, I think it should all be either we should make it a pit parking lot or we should put grass there.
Right, that's my thing. I mean,
Still park in the grass too.
I don't like the
Yeah.
idea of just the asphalt stopping there. I mean, I think the asphalt should continue out. Because the events that we have, this parking lot is not big enough for the events we have already.
What's you know how much the soil or like there's these plastic grids you basically like put on turf. Do you know what the kind of cost that is? I mean, I know you have to like establish it. You end up with like a sand base, and then it's like it still gets
For parking?
compost fill inside the grids.
Do
But
they
then-
do that in Waconia?
Yeah,
By that apartment
yep.
that they now have barricaded off? You can't drive in
Oh,
there.
that stupid thing they keep opening and closing.
But
all
yeah,
the time.
basically it's like
Yeah.
you don't make.
Oh,
I know it's more
They were doing
expensive
like
than
a
just putting
study
grass
there,
down,
too.
but you don't have
Like
to
a
pay to
water
put pavement,
study.
and then you can still park on it without it tearing up the grass.
Let's just
I've
go
never seen that
pavement.
thing open.
I agree. Pavement's just easier.
Yeah.
It's
I would say in the long run, having extra space is going to benefit us.
Mhm.
Extra parking spots,
Yes.
whether it be for baseball games, splash pad, or even
events.
events in the
Yeah.
fall. Everyone parks in the gravel.
And
And
give
it's
you
less-
that much room
I
for.
would like my food vendors
That's what
for
I'm saying.
the fall fest or the summer festival. I would
Right.
have more room because
That's a
I do
non-biased
put them in the
opinion.
sorry. Am I allowed to have an opinion there?
Hmm.
I do put them in the gravel, but I'm sure
Right.
they would prefer to be
on asphalt.
on asphalt.
I mean, it's less gravel. You're walking into the splash pad too.
No,
Yeah.
And that's another 40 feet. I mean, that 44 feet, that opens up a lot of area.
Is there a reason why not to maybe on the north side of the splash pad then kind of make a future little road to back there or not? Or wait till we decide on?
At this point, when we add parking, we don't have infinite money, is
Yep.
what it comes down to.
Right.
Yep.
I could cobble together funding for this. What I would do, what my recommendation to council would be is for 2025, our street maintenance that we're looking citywide is going to be, would be seal coating the areas we overlaid in 2023. Since it's just freshly overlaid, pushing it out one more year is not a big deal. It's not like streets are going to degrade.
Right. They're
because-
not you're not gonna lose that much out of 1 year.
Yeah, you'll like to do it 2 or 3 years after overlay, but if you push another year, the streets aren't going to crumble. It's not like sky's falling or anything like that. It's just nice to do, get it on there.
Yeah, I mean, one year isn't gonna hurt you. Now, if you get into that 3-4, now you got a problem. But
So I think pushing
the
it-
oils will hold.
Pushing it one more year for that seal coating, then you reallocate the funds you would have spent this year towards paving this as a,
And like I said, I personally feel that there's just not enough parking here to begin with. I mean, so any extra, I feel is a bonus.
what I would also look at doing as a whole, paving this, and then as part of that, we would blackjack all of this, restripe.
Mhm.
And that's where I'd look at if we're adding out here,
Mhm.
does this design still make sense? Or can we reconfigure the striping to add even more spaces
Yeah.
with the added space?
Mhm.
That's what I would look at from a design standpoint.
Also
I mean,
drives me
as I look at that, you know how nice it would be just to square that off with the road.
Mhm.
Oh, and it drives
Mhm.
and
I
it drives me nuts how it's all like semi-surmountable along the
Mhm.
whole edge. Like it's not a normal surmountable curb. It's like
It's like everybody's driveway in my neighborhood.
yeah. So there's the driveway
So
entrance, but
pointless.
then there's the whole area along there that's like
Yep.
not quite like B624. It's not surmountable. It's like something in between.
Mhm.
And like I said, I just looking at the photo, I'm like,
Yeah. Who designed that? No offense if you're watching. Mhm.
Is the
But-
limestone seating enough, like if cars were to drive close to the splash pad, you think it would stop a car?
If they're parking on the splash pad, the cops are coming for them because I have security cameras. I will not put up with that.
It's just, if you're gonna be driving a lot closer to the splash.
Oh, no, so
but the
the
splash pad will be surrounded by stone.
Yeah,
splash pad,
right.
it's on the
Yeah.
back side.
Yeah.
On the back side, that's where the seating's going,
Not on the front.
not on the.
So we could put bollards up or something.
That's what you need. Probably put bollards.
Yeah, so at the edge of this,
Yeah.
we would put up, like Brad Quas has in front of the old fire hall. Just those
Oh.
stoppers.
Stoppers.
And that was my question on whether it would be if it would.
You could do a curb
make
on one
sense to
side.
put a
You
curb
could do a curb on one side with the
curb
curb
right
cuts for
Hey.
where for your.
And I know that would increase the cost a lot, but that might be a section that would maybe pay off with curb.
I would rather do the much cheaper alternative and get the parking stoppers and just put them in every space.
But you wouldn't be parking against that side.
Right, you're not.
You're parking facing that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Depending on the design. And now
Right,
if you
if you
reconfigure,
Do it,
True.
yeah.
you can reconfigure now you're striping this way, or they figure you can put ends on this or what have you. If they're parking facing the splash pad, we would have
Yeah,
bollards.
you're right. Essentially, if that's longer, who knows? It might make more sense to turn the parking completely.
Yeah, and if you square it off, you gain even more. If
If we're
if
doing
they could do
something
that.
like this, we got trees in here, keep an eye on.
Don't we? Oh, I was gonna say, isn't that one of the ones coming down?
I
But
think
no.
there's like one.
Trees are replaceable.
Well, there might be a.
We have a
big-
couple
there
coming
might-
down, but they're not
Might
there.
be a big tree there, actually.
This one right here, I would fight, if it's not in the way, if it's in the way, I would fight to keep because this gives great shade.
I
It does,
love
it
that
does.
tree there, yeah. But the other, we have other trees coming down
So those trees are all up in here.
behind there.
They're
Yeah.
all up in here. Like these are going, that's going.
Mhm.
So if you have this open space, how can we redesign this to be maximum for parking?
Like I
back?
say, it might even be that parking gets turned the other way. I don't know.
Yeah,
Right.
I would want to
right.
evaluate that.
Yeah. So. There's
So next year.
people way above our pay grade
We'll
to
talk about it
figure out.
next year.
We can knee jerk fast enough to do this. We can.
Nick, your eyes just got really big.
Yeah,
Well, that gives you something to think about.
I'm saying
Yep.
it's
You have nothing going
doable.
on this weekend anyway.
It's doable.
All right. Do we have any more information that we need to do as far as our
So-
capital improvement?
No,
No.
that's
Okay.
it for capital improvement.
With that, any other comments or reports from anybody that needs to go through? No? Otherwise, I will look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Beauty.
you, everybody.
Go home and shower off my
Thanks for staying.
strenuous garbage.
Yeah, thank
pickup.
you, Melissa.
She couldn't help herself, jumping right in there.